Oh, he's a nice one.
Woo, baby.
Good fish here.
Jigging stripers, baby.
Yeah.
Jigging delta striper. It's on the doctor spoon, baby. Vertically jigging, big.
He feels like a keeper.
There we go. There's a 24-incher. Yeah.
Oh, look at that beast.
Hey, what's up guys? Nick the Informative Fisherman here, and today we're going to be talking about vertically jigging striped bass. Let's just call it more vertical fishing. We're going to be vertically fishing spoons, any bait that we could drop straight down below, looking at those fish swirling back and forth on the graph, or even suspended stripers that are not actively feeding, drop big spoons down to them, get them to strike. This is no trophy. But you can see here, I'm using a big old doctor spoon, dropping it straight down, lifting up, let it hit the bottom, couple cranks up, yo-yoing it up and down. We'll break it all down for you, show you some other tricks on top of that. But hopefully we'll get some better fish than this for you guys, so stay tuned. Feels like another small fish. I'm having fun on the spinning rod. Yeah, a little 14, 15 incher, maybe less. On that doctor spoon once again. Now what I'm doing is a technique I'm gonna call penduluming. You know, it's basically, you look at the graph, you think 30 feet, you make a 30-foot cast, you keep your line and your rod kind of pointed straight at the line, but keep your rod arced off to the side and just let it pendulum back to you. It just falls into that zone. And then when it gets down straight below you and you start to lift, it's an extra intriguing thing for them. They're like, whoa, it just came over from there, now it's wounded, let's go get it. And oftentimes, dropping straight down on them doesn't work, but when you see them below the boat, throwing that pendulum style out there and letting it swing under, oftentimes it's gonna get you strikes where you can't normally get them.
Now, if you're wondering why you'd want a vertical fish for stripers, it's simply this. When the sun comes up, the bait goes down, and the stripers follow that bait. A good percentage of the time, you're gonna find the fish deeper than 25 feet deep, and the plug selections greatly diminish at that point. Dropping a spoon or a jig right down in front of them becomes much more effective. You want to look for these fish on deep ledges, structures with big shade lines like the ships. Those are highly effective targets. So what you want to do is you want to pull up and graph those areas and search out bait balls or actively feeding fish feeding on those bait balls. It's going to look like little clouds with slash marks going through. It's going to look like rain across your screen, a bunch of crazy arches. Drop down to them, put it in front of them.
You can do it on the top of the lip, watch. See there, it pulls off.
Sweet. So now when it comes to that penduluming technique I was talking about, you're probably wondering, why the heck is Nick using a spinning rod? It's not as powerful as a bait caster. The reels aren't nearly as fast, but the thing is, I'm using a light flutter spoon here. The spoon I like to use when I'm doing that pendulum is the Little Doctor 275 by Yellowbird Products. Really cool. And here's the thing, it's light. It's very hard to cast on bait casting tackle. When I do my bait casting version, I use the 285 Big Doctor by Yellowbird. But the cool part here is I'm using 30-pound braid. So I can handle a big fish even on this. This is a 7-foot fast action baiting right here up in the tip. Still got a lot of backbone. And that 30-pound braid is only 8-pound diameter, so I can put a lot of yardage on there. In that case, if a big one decides to smoke me, he's not really gonna get anywhere where I can't catch up. He could peel line for a long time and I can catch up to him at that point. When I'm doing the penduluming technique, I throw it out there. I'm letting it fall back under the boat. I need a very light, sensitive rod. With this spinning rod in my hand, I can feel the light fluttering action of that spoon. So that's the benefit of that. And the spoon's very light to where if I was on a bait caster, it would be harder for me to detect it. More of my vertical fishing and less so much of that penduluming, I'm using the Big Doctor 285. It's got a lot more weight. You can still do the penduluming. I like the penduluming on the spinning rod with this lighter spoon because it falls slower. It spends more time in the strike zone. But that 285 Big Doctor is more my vertical presentation.
Ah, another good one.
Hooked up on the doctor spoon, baby. Vertically jigging big flutter spoons. This is the doctor spoon. I'll read that model off to you shortly here and show you what we got them on. Hold that fish up, Dad. Fatty McGee.
Not bad.
Not bad.
There he is.
So Mike hooked up another short fish on the P-line laser minnow. Those are real good. That's a 3-ounce jig right there. So if you got hard current, you can really detect them good. You can still catch some smaller fish and your bigger fish on those at the same time. So now for my bait casting outfits and those heavier jigs, those heavier spoons, what I like to use is 17-pound fluorocarbon here. I have a lot more backbone, better drag, faster reels. The rod's a lot beefier. I can pull them away from things that I want to, structure and cover, whatever they can run to. I have a lot more control with my bait casting outfit, so I don't need the extra yardage, but I still want detection, good bite detection. So I'm using 100% fluorocarbon here. The benefit to 100% fluorocarbon is visual a lot of the time. Yes, it's slow and stretch. You detect bites very well. Also, if you cast and you let it fall, you get less bow in your line. You get more of a straight connection going to that fish. So if you don't want to use braid, you can use fluorocarbons if you want to try that too. If you are using braid, a lot of the time in that cleaner, clearer water, use about a 3-foot leader. This is a 7-speed reel. I like the faster reels. If the stripers happen to start busting to the surface that day, I can pick up a plug real fast, get it out there, burn it back in, get it back out there fast again. I prefer a fast action or a moderate fast, bending right up in here for good jigging action, lifting it up. This happens to be a moderate. We're jumping around through rods, but fast or moderate fast, medium heavy, 7.5 foot rod, high speed reels, good drag systems is a must. You can go down to 6-speed, anything slower than 5. A lot of the time that fish hit you on the way up, you really just don't have the speed to catch up to them. It'll still work, but it's more efficient to use a higher speed reel. So keep that in mind, guys.
Hang with us, guys. We'll be right back. Did you know that P-Line makes specialized lines for all your fishing needs? From the super strong abrasive resistant CXX for the low stretch super stealthy CX Premium, or maybe you're looking for invisibility or super bite detection with P-Line's 100% fluorocarbon. No matter what your needs, P-Line's got it covered. To find out more, visit P-Line.com.
P-Line, baby!
Are you ready for a pair of polarized sunglasses that's going to improve on your fishing game? Well, Bluefin Eyewear's addressed all the current issues with fishing glasses. No more pressure, discomfort behind the ears, they're super lightweight with improved face gripping technology, and not to mention a lifetime warranty. BluefinEyewear.com, guys. Check it out. Ever tried pulling a planer board next to your boat when trolling or fishing from a swift current bank? If not, you're missing out on one of the most phenomenal fish catching machines on the market today. With Yellowbird planer boards pulling your lines perpendicular to your boat, you can't help but catch more fish. Find out more by visiting www.yellowbirdproducts.com. Have you been to rustylures.com? Did you know they offer free shipping on anything over $29.99? And with all the latest and greatest in bass fishing gear, from punching tackle, umbrella rigs, swim baits, and you name it, there's really no reason for you not to be getting the best deal online today. So go to www.rustylures.com. Did you ever wish for an RC boat when you were a kid? And do you have a passion for fishing? Well, guess what? It's time to do them both at the same time. With RCFishingWorld.com's RC Fishing Pole, it's time to be a kid again. So visit www.rcfishingworld.com today. Did you know that Bass Angler Magazine has more articles than any other bass fishing publication? And with the top pros from around the nation spilling the beans in every issue, there's really no reason for you not to be subscribed to the most informative bass fishing magazine there is, Bass Angler Magazine. Thanks for watching, guys. Now let's get back to the show.
Another laser minnow fish.
Number 3. Only been out here about 5 minutes.
Laser minnow starting to run off with the chase. Jigging stripers, baby. Yeah. It's a 19-20 incher. Jigging Delta striper. So we're cruising around the Stockton Deepwater Channel today. That's where we're fishing. You know, we graphed a lot of bait fish in this area that we just stopped at. Now, a lot of the time, the more obvious thing to guys, they say, when I tell or describe a technique to them, they go, well, that was kind of obvious, but I see it all the time. So we're vertically fishing here, so let me drop the spoon down on the bottom. Just easing it out, letting it get down there. And I'm actually gonna point my rod tip at the water until I feel the bottom. And I'm gonna wait till it hits about 40 foot deep. It hit right there, stopped it with my spool. Now I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cranks. Now all you wanna do when you're vertically fishing this is bring it up to about 930. 930, bring your rod tip back down. 930, rod tip back down. 930, rod tip back down. 930. Now with a striper, they're not like if you're jigging for king salmon. Salmon a lot of the time like to crush it on the lift. It's like an aggression thing that they have going, but the stripers actually want to eat it. The striper likes to catch it on the fall. So it's imperative when you jig up and you're at 930, as soon as you go to drop it right here, if he hits it right here, you still have room to set the hook. But if you come up and you drop down and you're jigging up here, and then you go to drop it and he hits you, I mean, you have nowhere to set the hook. It happens a lot. You get road stare, just jigging along, jigging along, jigging along, and then finally that big one takes a crack at it. You're out of position, you don't get the hooks in the fish, and you wasted your opportunity. So don't do that, guys. Now a cool trick when you're throwing any type of spoon, basically the spoon's action is its fall. So a cool thing you can do, you can go right up to the side of these barges, because that's where a lot of the stripers hang, and keep a relatively tight line. Basically point it, get a tight line, and point your rod tip slightly off to the side to where you can feel that rod get hit, and just let it pendulum all the way back to you. What it's going to do, it's going to cover that big structure, that big piece of cover that they're hanging onto. It's going to swing your bait, and it's applying action the whole time. You're perfectly waiting in line here. I've been catching a lot of fish like this today. Just let it fall down there. We're graphing fish at 25, 30 foot deep. We're graphing fish at the top. Bomb it out there, tight line, let it pendulum back to you, and you're good to go. I hit the bottom right there with nothing, so I'm going to bring it back up. Kind of work it back to the boat a little bit, see if they're there and active, and then repeat the exact same thing. And you'll get a lot of hits like that. Well, they're busting out there.
So as the sun began to drop, the bait fish started making their way back up to the top, and it was time for me to pick up a topwater or rip bait and get back on some of that busting fish action. We didn't stick too many good fish vertically fishing today, but lots of the times it's the most effective big fish method when the stripers don't want to make it easy on you and come up to the top and take everything you want to throw at them. So keep it in mind, guys, always have a good spoon tight on board and be ready to vertical fish for those stripers, and you'll crush them.
This one feels like a keeper if he ain't foul hooked. Ah, that's a keeper. Woo!
Another thing, you'll often see birds still working in the middle of the day, but you're not going to see those stripers busting on the surface. What you can do is pull up right under them, cast that big spoon out there, and use that pendulum method that I was talking about. It can drop down through them, and it's going to find where those fish are, and you're going to often pick off the bigger fish that way.
Got him, Mike. I got one. Yeah, Mike. There we go. There's a 24-incher. That's all right. Throw again. Throw again. Looks like a good fish. Oh yeah, taking some drag.
Oh yeah.
20 inches.
Oh yeah. Solid, baby. Yeah.
Oh, look at that beast.
Big sucker. Salty run.
Oh, you
Let's
broke
get
in
another.
the lucky crab. Look at this.
There it is, baby.
I'm Nick the Informative Fisherman, and that's vertical fishing for striped bass. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Complex instrumental.
Tell us what the hell is going on down here.
Research and development.